Okay, welcome back to another episode on the Leyland 154. As you can see, I've got the wind chimes up again. I've painted a load more bits dark blue, ready to go on the tractor. Now, normally with these videos, I hash them together quick on a weekend. And you get whatever it is I do, however little or much. This video, this is Monday the 2nd of February now? Hang on, I'll check. Monday the 2nd of February. You won't see this video till the weekend. So this video's hopefully going to be a little better, because you'll see me fitting all of these and getting somewhere for a change. But I've got the hydraulic valves painted. The dynamo bits are painted. I've got the hydraulic filter painted, the dynamo tensioner bracket, the hydraulic pump mounting bracket. I've got the oil filter painted, and I've got the step brackets painted. I need to paint the steps themselves, the 3-point linkage on the back, and a few other odds and sods. I want to get the main tractor done because it's dragging on now. It needs to be done. I've got other projects waiting to be worked on. I've still got to fix the diesel leak on the diesel pump. Haven't looked at that yet. I think that's where we're up to. The tractor needs a bloody good wash because, as with anything, it sits in the workshop and gets covered with all kinds of muck and dust. So I'm going to try and get us to the point this week where we have a running, driving, moving tractor that just wants some tin work and some wings and whatnot. Where do we start today? I think we'll these bits are still a bit tacky. They're not too bad, but I'll fire up the space heater and get them flashed off. It doesn't take much once we get a bit of heat in here. I've still got to clean up the fuel filter housing. And I've got a new fuel filter, which it doesn't really need because this one's not very old, but I've got some ones that are Leyland branded. Still got a problem with the dipstick tube, which I'll find in a minute. I can't find, the dipstick tube got bent when they were doing the engine work. I should have unscrewed it and I didn't. That's my fault. But that's an easy repair. We might just have to knock something up on the lathe. Other than that, I think we're getting somewhere. I got to strip the tyres off the back wheels and get them in for blasting. I might tackle them today, but what I'm going to do is I'll film a little bit of me doing all this stuff. And using my skilled editing skills, I'll piece it all together and knock up something you could call a video. Okay, it's the end of Monday now. I've had enough, so I'm going to be going home in a minute. I have got the oil filter housing on. I've got the dynamo back together and on. I've had troubles with the hydraulic pump. Some of you who have worked on these might know this problem better than me, but the aftermarket fan hub seems too fat. So I've had to space the hydraulic pump bracket out slightly to clear it. I've got the smallest bit of clearance down here, but it is on the slack side of the belt, so I think it'll be fine. But the hydraulic pump is on. I've only used one of my new hydraulic pipes. I don't know what I've done with the other pipe, because the original one has got a metal tail on it and the replacement is all rubber, which means you'll end up with a sharp bend back here. Hang on, I'll film that on my phone for you. Okay, the original hydraulic pipe, as you can see, has got this metal tail that brings the fitting down to here. The replacement is just one long rubber hose, which means it's got to come around this bend here with a pipe. I've kept it original. I've used the new suction hose because that was actually the one that was knackered. But I've run into a small problem with the water pump pulley. This is like a reproduction one, I guess. It's the original was pressed steel. This one is made out of aluminium, and it holds the belt too far from the engine, which means it's colliding with the hydraulic pump belt. I've ordered another one from another company that in the pictures looks like it's pressed steel. I'm hoping it is. It come from, I want to say it was JSK Automotive, which I actually order a few bits and bobs from, but they come up on a Google search as having a pressed steel one. I don't think I can even modify this one on the lathe to make it work. It's just too bulky. I've had to space the hydraulic pump mount away from the engine to get it to clear the water pump pulley, and I'm not happy with that. It's just not right. The dynamo belt is clearly pulled forward. So yeah, I've painted all the radiator bits, but I ran out of black spray paint, so I picked a random can up off the shelf and gave it one final coat, and it all reacted and pickled up. So I've got to rub all these bits back down and give them a few more coats of shiny top coat. Yeah, that was a bit of a balls up. Now the whole pulley situation I've got on here, I don't know whether I've mentioned it already. I brought this pulley. The original pulley on here had worn the back away. Someone had had a nut stuck out too far on the water pump, and the back bit become wafer thin with bits falling off, so it really wasn't usable. So I brought the aluminium one that they sell on all the tractor part sites. It fits, it works, but it doesn't sit close enough to the engine, so it collides with the hydraulic belt. I don't know whether I've just got a duff one or this is a problem with them. I don't know. I've got no experience with these. So yeah, this one that I bought from Tractor Spare Parts doesn't quite work without fiddling. And I don't want to fiddle with it. So this one I could put in the lathe and on the mill, and I think I could make this one work with a bit of machining work. So that's not all lost. So I bought this one off eBay from JSK. It's a pressed steel pulley. This one doesn't fit at all. I don't know whether this is for a later Leyland or what's going on with it, but this one doesn't fit at all. So that one is no good. I looked around in my shed last night and found this pulley, which is off a 1966 Riley Elf, which is a mini with a boot for any of you don't know. This one doesn't fit either. It's far too small. So Andy at Tractor Spare Parts has got one genuine pulley in stock that he's not got listed for sale, that hopefully he is going to send me to see if it cures my problems. I haven't got that yet because he wanted to take all the measurements off of it, obviously for the purposes of remanufacturing them. So as it stands, I have no pulley for the water pump, which is an issue. I'm pretty good at never throwing anything away, but for some reason the original pulley I've thrown, which is a shame because I would probably now be looking at repairing that. But I can't because I haven't got it. And if I have got it, I can't find it. So I'm not going to worry too much about that for now. I'm going to crack on and get the hydraulic pipes on. Let me grab a hydraulic pipe. I'll grab this one. Now I've cleaned all the hydraulic pipes back to bare metal. They're made of stainless steel. So I have decided I am not going to paint these, I'm going to leave them stainless steel. Experience tells me all the paint chips off them as a pastime anyway. So I am going with just stainless steel pipes. I've painted the hydraulic, don't know whether you can see there, I've painted the hydraulic filter house in. That's ready to go back on. So we can do that. Haven't addressed the leak on the diesel pump yet. I want to have a bit of a tidy up and clean the bench off before I tackle that. But that will be good. So basically we are I've got to recoat these bits of radiator with gloss black today. I'm going to rub all them down and repaint them, including the expansion tank, which bolts on the side of the head here. And hopefully when I get a pulley, the pulley will work and I can just bolt that on. I've already got a new radiator fan. The original one, the blade started snapping off, which is a shame because I really wanted the original yellow fan. But saying that, I can't see that here either. So I don't know whether I've got a missing pile of pieces here somewhere or whether I've thrown them away. But in this episode, we're going to get some stuff done. We're going to get the hydraulics on. Hopefully get the radiator on. I'm going to sort out painting the 3-point linkage on the back so I can bolt that on, at which point we will have working hydraulics. And yeah, but hopefully by the end of this video, we'll have a tractor that we can run up, warm up, work, and yeah, that bit's done. Then we can get on with some of the pretty bits, the bonnet and whatnot. I still haven't stripped the tyres off the back wheels, so hopefully we can get that done in this video and get them in for blasting. And I think that's where we are at the moment. Oh, I've got the air filter. If I'm painting the 3-point linkage blue, I'll get and sort out the air filter and paint that blue as well. And then that can go on. And then, yeah, we can run the engine up, warm it up, flush it out. Job's a good one. Other than that, that is where we are up to now. So I'm going to crack on with the radiator bits and then move on to these hydraulic pipes. And hopefully, in the meantime, a pulley arrives. Yeah. If the pulley doesn't arrive, like I said, the aluminium one I brought, I believe I am fortunate I have got a lathe and a mill here. So I believe I can machine this down a bit and make this one work. It's the only way I could make it work was to space the hydraulic pump mount out from the engine, but that caused all the belts to go out of alignment, so that was no good. But it's not the end of the world. Worst case scenario, I shall just make a new one. But that will get sorted one way or the other. So yeah, I'm going to crack on with the radiator. When I've got all that cleaned and painted and dried, we'll move on to the hydraulic pipes and get those tyres stripped off those wheels. Okay. I've had to sandblast all these radiator parts because I couldn't stop the paint pickling. So that's all me radiator, expansion tank, fan guards, radiator mount. That is all painted. I'm going to walk away from that now and let that dry overnight. Obviously, we're no further forward with the pulley situation at the moment. Okay, I've run out of black spray paint to spray the radiator bits. I've got a few coats on them, but because it was so cold last night, it's dried completely matte. So I've got some more spray paint coming tomorrow to sort them out. I've started putting the hydraulic pipes on, which I'll cover in a minute. What else have I done? Not a lot. I lie. Right, this is the aluminium pulley Tractor Spare Parts sent me. Hang on a minute, let me see if I can find the bit I've cut off of it. And the answer to that is no. Anyway, this is what I've done. The pulley is fine. I don't know whether you can see, I've shaved some off the back because it seemed excessively thick. And I've also machined out the hub bit that bolts to the hub. My plan is, I'm going to make a new piece to go on the front that spaces the pulley back. I think I measured it at nearly 7mm. I will measure it properly before I make it, obviously. Hang on a minute, have I got the... There we go. Right, what I've done I have machined off the boss off the front of it, leaving me with a pulley with no middle. The boss sat in there like that. I am going to make a new one of these that is 6mm deeper, or however much it needs to be. I'll be honest, I've got to take the hydraulic pump belt off before I can measure it properly, but it's coming up 5:10 and I've had enough for today. I need some beer. So I'm going to I've got to order a slug of aluminium because the only bit I've got that would do it is just a bit too small in the diameter. But I am going to machine a new one of them with, for the points of arguments, we'll say 6mm deeper. Basically, I need a gap filling of 6mm. But I'm going to make that piece complete with the bit that's 6mm deep. I'm going to make it locate in there, and I'm going to TIG weld it together, and hopefully that cures my pulley problem, which is a bigger problem than you would think. I'll be honest, Tractor Spare Parts sell good parts. I don't know how this could be so wrong, which makes me wonder if I haven't just got a duff one. But there's no sending it back now because I've stuck it in the lathe and chopped it up. So I'm going to order a slug of aluminium. It needs to be, I think I just measured 71mm in diameter. And then I can machine a new boss to TIG weld on there. And that'll get me, hang on. I'll get my phone out because this might be a problem that some of you have had as well. Hang on, video. Right, this is the boss that I've machined off. It's difficult to tell on there, but I've machined it off pretty flush. So other than the little burr that's sticking up, that is pretty rough. But if I hold the pulley where it needs to be, that is how much of a gap I need. Now, bearing in mind I've parted that off with my parting off tool, which I think is not a lot more than 1mm. That is how much of a gap I need to make this pulley sit right in that gap. Now, the problem I was having, if I pull that forward to where it was, it's colliding with the hydraulic drive pump belt, which is causing me all sorts of issues. The only way I found to deal with that was to space this hydraulic pump bracket out, which obviously brought all the belts out of alignment, so that wasn't going to work. Like I said, I don't know how it can be so far out. Surely someone has picked up on this before, or maybe they haven't. Andy at Tractor Spare Parts was quite shocked how far out it was. And this is all as it was. This is all standard fitment on here. I fitted nothing extra. There's just no reason for it to be that far out. So my solution, like I said, I'm going to machine a new boss up that spaces it out the distance I need, which off the top of my head, I keep saying it, I believe it's 6mm. That gets my pulley working. So it's not the end of the world. I was hoping I wouldn't have to do that, but apparently I have. Like I said, focus. This is the boss in place. There would have been a little gap like that. I don't know whether you can see it. Probably not. But anyway, that's what I've got to do with that. Tomorrow I'm going to crack on with the hydraulics, which I'll film, and you'll see that shortly. I've put the expansion tank mount on. That was the only bit I could paint that stayed shiny. I've had a lot of trouble with paint lately. I ordered 3 cans of, I like these, U-Pole. I've ordered 3 gloss back U-Poles off Amazon. Every failed to deliver it next day, which isn't unusual. I'm quite impressed I received it at all. But when I went to give the radiator a coat of paint, they've sent me 3 cans of grey primer, which is really useful. It is actually quite useful. I do like having primer in aerosol tins. But I've ordered 3 tins of gloss black. Hopefully they get it right this time. And I can get that painted. But yeah, the big sticking point at the moment is this pulley. I can't put the radiator on. So I'm a bit stuck at the minute. Okay, here we are. It's Friday morning now. Well, it's Friday lunchtime actually. So early start for me. I'm going to start this today off. I know I said in the last bit we'd look at the hydraulics, which we will do. I'm waiting for some black paint to paint these bits hung up behind me. Whilst I'm waiting for that, I'm going to strip these tyres off so I can get these wheels in for blasting. Hang on, let me get my valve tool. Right, these tyres have been on these wheels for about 14 months. I'm hoping that they come off quite easily. We'll see what happens. Ugh. Could do with a bit more room. I'm going to have a tidy up this weekend. Another one. I spend my whole life tidying up in here. Just breaking the bead. Let me aim you down. Right, you can't see me, but you can see the tyre. Okay, my brother's just leaving. We've got the tyres off. We actually use my tyre machine. Amazingly, the bead breaker actually got the beads. Luckily, they're not massive tractor wheels. But, oh, I'm out of breath. They're off. I can get these in for blasting now and get them painted. And, yeah, I am now just waiting for some black paint so I can paint these bits and get them out the way. And then I am going to jet wash the rear linkage off and get the few bits ready for some more dark blue. I'm kind of all over the place on this video because waiting for stuff to come, waiting for room, 101 reasons, but we're getting there. That's the important bit. It all takes time. But I'm going to get these off for blasting. I might even run them down now, and we'll see what happens next. I'll see you in the next bit. Oh. Right, we got the tyres off the wheels. We actually used the bead breaker on my tyre machine. It just about caught the tyre enough to knock it off the bead. I've already dropped the wheels down at the sandblasting place. I'll pick them up the middle of next week and we can get them painted. I'm still waiting for my black spray paint to paint all these bits and the radiator cowl. Yeah, I've steam cleaned off the 3-point linkage. You can't see it because it's on the floor. It is there. I've steam cleaned that off. I'm going to get them and a few other bits painted dark blue tomorrow. I've got aluminium bar stock coming to do something with that water pump pulley. And yeah, it doesn't look like it, but progress is getting made. I'm going to wrap this video up here. I think I've got enough to put a video together. I'm going to have a clean up over the weekend, and once all these bits are painted, reassess where we are. But we are getting there. It's slow going, but you know, I have got a business to run, staff to keep happy, lots going on. So unfortunately I can't spend all day every day on the old tractor, although I do try. My daughter's outside making noises. She's just got back in. Yeah, so remember to like and subscribe or you'll miss out on this. And if you're missing out on it, guy, you're missing out on life. This is exciting stuff. get this tractor sorted and we can start working on this workshop, which needs a lot of work. So that's it for today. Like and subscribe. I'll see you next week.